Alright, quick question. Have you ever looked at someone who is insanely creative and thought, wow, I wish I had that kind of brain? Or maybe you've convinced yourself that creativity is something you're just born with, like blue eyes or an inability to resist free samples at Costco. Well, I'm here to tell you that's nonsense. Creativity isn't a magical gift reserved for a chosen few. It's not some exclusive VIP club where Picasso and Steve Jobs are high-fiving in the corner. No, creativity is a muscle. And just like any muscle, you can train it, grow it, and make it stronger. In fact, if you've ever solved a problem, made a joke, rearranged your furniture just to see how it looks, congrats! You've already flexed your creative muscles. But here's the catch. Most of us let those muscles shrink because we believe the biggest creativity myth of all time, that creativity means being a master painter, a poetic genius, or a musical prodigy. And if you can't do those things, well, guess you're just not creative. Spoiler alert, that's total garbage. In this video, we're going to break down the science of creativity, how it actually works, what stops it, and most importantly, how you can spark fresh, mind-blowing ideas whenever you need them, even if you currently believe you have the creative range of a potato. Let's get one thing straight. Creativity isn't just for artists, musicians, and people who can paint a bowl of fruit so realistically you want to take a bite. It's everywhere, in everything, and you've been using it all along. Think about it. Every business idea, marketing campaign, product design, or process improvement was sparked by creativity. If you've ever solved a problem, found a clever workaround, or convinced a toddler to eat vegetables by calling broccoli tiny trees, congratulations, you are creative. Creativity is not about making things pretty. It's about making things work. It's out there. Well, that some people are just born creative. Like creativity is some rare genetic mutation passed down by artsy ancestors. Let's bust that myth right now. No one is born a creative genius. Mozart wasn't composing concertos in the womb, and Steve Jobs didn't start prototyping iPhones in preschool. The truth? Creativity is a skill, a habit, a muscle. And just like going to the gym, if you don't use it, it gets weak. But if you train it, stretch it, and push it outside its comfort zone, you'd be amazed at what it can do. Now here's where most people get stuck. They think creativity is a talent you're either born with or not, like some cosmic lottery where a few lucky souls get the genius gene and the rest of us are just spreadsheet enthusiasts. But that's a complete lie. In fact, let's just go ahead and say it. Talent isn't real. No one is born knowing how to play an instrument, write a best-selling novel, or invent the next game-changing product. Every single talented person you admire, they weren't handed some magic gift. They just put in the time. And yet people love to throw the word talented around like it explains everything. Oh, you're such a talented writer, you're so naturally artistic, you must have a gift for this. But what they they don't see is the years of practice, the late nights, the failures, the hundreds of attempts that sucked before the one that didn't. Think about it. If talent were real, why do so many so-called untalented people become incredible at things later in life? Why do prodigies fade out if they don't keep working at it? So here's a personal example. I enjoy painting. So when some people see my work, they try to tell me, "You are so talented." I'm sorry, but I don't take that well. First, I don't think there is anything that special about my work. Anyone could paint just as well or even better if they gave it time, practiced, learned a few techniques, and were open to experimenting a little bit. And second, when I start a new painting, there's a process of taking it from the level of, "This is terrible, I don't even know what I'm looking at," to, "This isn't actually as bad," to, "Yeah, I kind of like it." And the two things that move this painting from one stage to the next are patience and the time I put into the process. So, do you see talent anywhere here? The truth is, creativity is earned, not given. It's something you build, stretch, and develop, just like a muscle. The world's most creative and influential people, they didn't wait until they felt talented to start creating. Maya Angelou didn't become an iconic writer overnight. She wrote, rewrote, and refined her words tirelessly, overcoming self-doubt along the way. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't just born a genius. He spent his life studying, experimenting, and failing more times than we can count before creating masterpieces. Thomas Edison didn't just get lucky with the light bulb. He failed over 1,000 times before finally succeeding. No one just wakes up one day as a master of their craft. They decide to start. They push through self-doubt. They create a lot of bad work before they ever create something great. And most importantly, they keep going. Now let's address something interesting. Some people do seem to have a natural gift for certain things. From an early age, they pick up skills effortlessly, whether it's music, math, problem solving, or even storytelling. And yes, sometimes it really does look like they were born with it. But here's the thing. Even the most naturally gifted people still have to put in the work. If a child shows extraordinary talent for playing piano but never practices, the talent fades. If a genius mathematician stops solving problems, their skill deteriorates. Creativity, just like any ability, is like a flame. It only stays lit if you keep feeding it. But here's the part most people miss. Even if you weren't born with a certain ability, it doesn't mean you can't develop it now. In fact, everything you put effort into today is something you could be mastering for the future. Think of it like The Sims. When you create a sim, or when a new baby sim is born, they start out as a blank slate. They're not automatically great at painting, playing guitar, or building rocket ships. If you want your sim to be a master pianist, what do? You make them practice over and over and over. And as they put in the hours, you literally watch their skill level go up 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. They unlock new abilities, create better work, and suddenly, boom, they're composing symphonies. Real life? Exactly the same. The more time and energy you put into something, the more you level up that skill. You're not stuck with whatever default settings you were born with. You get to choose what abilities you invest in. The only difference You can't just speed up time or use cheat codes. But if you show up, do the work, and stay consistent, your creativity will grow, just like any other skill. The reality is, creativity belongs to those who nurture it. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start and you keep going. So instead of wondering whether you are naturally creative, ask yourself, what am I willing to put effort into today? Because the work you do now is shaping the creative mind you'll have tomorrow. You don't need permission to be creative. You just need to start. So if you're waiting for some magical moment where you suddenly feel good enough to start creating something amazing, stop waiting. That moment isn't coming. The only way to be creative is to act creative. Write the bad first draft. Sketch the terrible drawing. Build the awkward, clunky first version of your business idea. Because here's the secret. Creativity isn't about being good. It's about being willing to try, willing to fail, willing to make a mess before you make something incredible. Now that we've shattered the myth of talent, let's talk about how to actually unlock your creativity. Now, the good news, it's a whole lot easier than you think. Let's start with the number one thing that kills creativity. Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of making something bad. Fear that whatever you create won't be good enough. But here's the secret. True creativity isn't about being good. It's about being free. The moment you start worrying about whether your idea is brilliant or if people will like it, you've already shut down your creative flow. Think about it. When kids draw, they don't sit there agonizing over whether it's perfect. They just grab some crayons and go wild. They create for the joy of creating. So how do you tap into that energy again? Simple. Surrender. Detach from the outcome. Stop trying to control where the process takes you and just allow it to happen. Here's a challenge. Set a timer for 10 minutes and create something with absolutely no expectations. Write a ridiculous story, doodle some nonsense, brainstorm 10 terrible ideas. It doesn't matter. Because when you remove judgment, you make space for real creativity to show up. Now let's talk about mental clutter. If your mind is constantly filled with distractions, emails, social media, endless to-do lists, where is creativity supposed to land? It's like trying to pour water into a cup that's already overflowing. There is no space for anything new. That's why some of the greatest creative minds swear by meditation, mindfulness, or even just sitting in silence. Because when you quiet the noise, ideas finally have room to come in. Now, do you want to try something together right now? Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just be still for 10 seconds. No scrolling, no thinking about what's next, just silence. Feels different, doesn't it? When you stop chasing ideas, they come to you. Now, what is one of the biggest myths about creativity? It's that it just appears out of nowhere, like some mystical force that strikes at random. But here's the truth. Inspiration isn't something you wait for. It's something you tune into. Creativity is like a radio signal. It's always out there. But if you don't actively dial in, all you'll get is static. The more often you practice tuning in, the clearer the ideas come through. And the most creative people, they don't just sit around hoping they'll get inspired. They show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Stephen King writes every single day, not because he's struck with endless waves of inspiration, but because he knows that creativity thrives on consistency. So if you've been waiting for the perfect moment when you feel creative, stop waiting. Instead, schedule your creative time like an important business meeting. Because the more you show up, the more creativity will too. If you want to get into the creative zone, you have to protect your focus. Here's a simple but powerful trick. Set a 30-minute deep work session where you eliminate all distractions. No phone, no emails, no notifications, just pure focus. You'll be amazed at how much more creative you feel when you actually give your mind space to create instead of constantly consuming. Creativity happens in the gaps, but if you never give yourself a gap, how can it find you? So if you want to unlock your most creative ideas, stop living in the past, stop chasing the future, and start being fully present in the now. See, a lot of people think creativity comes from thinking harder, when in reality it happens when you stop thinking so much and start tuning into the present moment. Nikola Tesla was famous for this. He wouldn't just sit around brainstorming. He would enter a deep state of focus, mentally designing entire inventions in perfect detail before ever sketching them out. He wasn't lost in random thoughts. He was fully present with his ideas. And then there is Salvador Dali, who had a strange but brilliant trick. He would take micro naps, holding a key in his hand while sitting in a chair. As soon as he drifted off, the key would drop, wake him up, and boom, he'd be hit with a flood of fresh ideas that felt like they came from nowhere. Why? Because in that micro moment between sleep and waking, his mind was completely clear. No past, no future, just presence. And that's the real secret. Creativity happens in the now. But here's the problem. Most of us spend our entire lives everywhere except the present moment. We're rehashing old mistakes, worrying about things that haven't happened yet, checking out our phones for the 100th time just to distract ourselves from the discomfort of stillness. And in doing that, we block the one thing that lets creativity in: awareness. So here's a challenge. The next time you feel restless, don't reach for your phone. Don't distract yourself. Just be. Observe. Listen. Notice what's around you. Feel your breath. Let your mind quiet. Because sometimes the best ideas don't come from forcing them. They come from creating space for them to arrive. Once you've created the right conditions for ideas to flow, how do you actually generate fresh, innovative ideas on demand? Good news, you don't have to wait for inspiration to magically appear. There are proven ways to spark creativity whenever you need it. Do you ever feel completely stuck, like your brain just refuses to come up with anything new? Here's a simple fix. Change your environment. Creativity thrives on new input. If you sit in the same chair, staring at the same screen, thinking the same thoughts, why would you expect fresh ideas to magically appear? It's like trying to cook a new dish, but only using the same 3 ingredients. So shake things up. Take a walk. Work from a cafe, a park, even your car. Just switch up the scenery. Even the smallest environmental changes can rewire your brain to start thinking differently. Because when you change your surroundings, you change your perspective. And new perspectives lead to new ideas. Now, most people struggle with creativity not because they lack ideas, but because they ask the wrong questions. If you're asking, "What should I do?" your brain will give you the most obvious, predictable answer. Let's try it right now. "Hey brain, what should I do?" Did you just say nothing? Did you get nothing too? Yeah, same. That's because your brain takes lazy questions very literally. Ask a vague question, get a vague answer. But watch what happens when you shift it just a little. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" ask, "What could I do?" Or even better, "What if?" The most game-changing ideas in history started with what if. What if a computer could fit in your pocket? What if people could share their car rides with strangers? What if people could pay for things without carrying a wallet? The better the question, the better the results. If you ever want to spark fresh ideas, stop trying to do it alone. Creativity thrives in connection. The best ideas don't live in isolation. They grow from conversations, unexpected perspectives, and collaborating with others. Have you ever noticed how some of the most innovative companies obsess over brainstorming? Pixar, for example, has a rule: no bad ideas in the room. Their creative teams throw out wild, ridiculous, impossible ideas because they know that even a bad idea might lead to a brilliant one. And here is something even more important. You have to let the bad ideas out first, and then the good ones can come through. It's like unclogging a pipe. The moment you start letting ideas flow, even if they start off terrible, you create space for the great ones to finally show up. So here's the takeaway. Talk to people outside your industry. Bounce ideas off friends. Have deep, unfiltered conversations where nothing is off limits. Because the moment you bring new minds into the mix, you unlock new ways of thinking. If you want to boost your creativity, here's a weird but insanely effective trick. Create in ways you've never done before, even if you think you're bad at them. Why? Because creativity isn't about being good. It's about training your brain to explore, play, and stretch beyond its usual patterns. So try this. Paint or draw something. Even if it looks like something a 5-year-old would probably stick on a fridge, just do it. Write a short story or a poem. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to exist. Compose a melody. You don't need to be a musician, just hum a tune or start playing one in your head and see where it goes. You'll be surprised at what might actually happen. Plant a mango seed from a fruit you just ate and watch it grow. Literally, watch life creating itself. Make up a new game. Play it with your kids, your friends, or your partner. Because the more you create, the more you realize creativity isn't rare. It's just a muscle you haven't stretched yet. And the more you stretch it, the stronger it gets. So here's the truth. You are creative. Creativity isn't some exclusive gift, it's a process. Make space for it. Invite it. Practice it. And most importantly, trust it. Because creativity isn't something you chase, it's something you allow. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop doubting whether your ideas are good enough. You don't need permission to create, you just need to start. And if you're ready to take your creativity beyond ideas and into action, let's make it work for your business. At Moonward Media, we specialize in custom video marketing strategies designed to help businesses grow, generate revenue, and connect with their audience in a way that truly matters. This isn't about just making videos. It's about creating a strategy that turns viewers into customers and ideas into results. Schedule a free consultation with us today. We'll take a look at your business, your goals, and show you exactly how the right video strategy can help you scale. Before you go, If you're ready to take your creative ideas and turn them into a high-converting video strategy, make sure to watch our next video on how to build a video sales funnel that brings real results.